Hey YouTube, for anybody that's watching also, hello. Um, my name is Ray. I'm a 45-year-old male uh, who's experiencing BPPV. I was just diagnosed last month with this diagnosis. Um, I've had dizzy spells for the last 6 months to 8 months. Well, with roughly around 8 months. The first time, it was such a violent spin that I called the uh, the ambulance because I didn't know what was going on, and it just seemed like it wouldn't stop. And then when I sit down, it was fine. And when I turned my head, I just went right back into that dizzy spell. Um, so I went to the emergency room. They couldn't really figure out what was wrong with me or whatever, so I went home. Feeling. It took initially. It took me like 3 days, three three full days to get back to normal. I felt like I'd had an aftermath of that spin where my brain was just like messed up. Like I felt like it was trying to mimic what was gonna happen, but it wouldn't happen. And I was restless. I was afraid. I had a multitude of feelings going on when all this was going on. So um, it was a rough time. I couldn't figure out what was going on with me. So um, I went through that occasion, and then finally um, I've had it another time, and then it went away. And then this time I had it. This last time I had it, which was roughly around last month. Um, so I woke up from a dizzy spell, and it felt like the room was just spinning. Um, I feel like I was on the gravitron and I was just spinning, 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 spinning. But it was uncontrollable. Finally, it subsided, and it messed me up, messed my balance up and everything like that for that day. And I felt it afterwards the next day, and I just felt the aftermath of it. Um, so when this happened, luckily, I had to go to my ear, nose, and throat specialist. I had an appointment the very next day. So that next day, I was like, look, I was still feeling a little messed up, so I'm gonna still go. So I went, and I told him about my issue. So my doctor, he put me in this. He was like, well, lay back. I'm gonna lay back. We're gonna put you in this position. You tell me if you're feeling dizziness or not. So I was like, okay. So he laid me back, turned my head to the right. I didn't have no spin. He turned it to the left, and it went into a full out spin. Um, and then he lifted me up right away, and I had to wait for that spinning to slow down, and I was so miserable right after that, and sweating, and just, it was just insane. So my doctor was like, hey, well, you have BPPV. That's what you're dealing with. BPPV is forgive me if I butcher it, but it's benign periodontal positional vertigo, something like that. You can look it up on Google, but it comes from numerous things, and it's unknown, but there's some things that can they can run tests on that they kind of like familiar with what's going on. And you can get this from head trauma. You can get this from inner ear damage, um, and you can get it through another way, which is what I have, is that crystals a crystal will break off in your inner ear, and it travels down your ear canal. And when it's traveling down the ear canal, it's basically telling your brain that you're moving without you're moving. So that's what's happening. That was happening with me. This thing was traveling down my ear canal, and it was telling my mind, hey, he's moving, when I wasn't. So um, there is no remedy for it. Well, there is no over-the-counter drug for it. There's only therapy, and the therapy is called the actual treatment is the Epley maneuver, and the Epley maneuver is designed to remove that crystal out of your ear, make it go back up the ear canal and come out the other end where it went in, and then settle that crystal into a certain part of your ear where it just does no damage or whatever, and then it kind of sticks to it and stuff like that. So um, that's what we did. So I had therapy 3 days later, and or actually a week later, I had the therapy session, and I was afraid, and so because it lingered with me, I would take Dramamine, and I would take Meclizine, which is what I have. I even went and bought these vertigo sticks that you put behind your ears, almost like Dramamine drops. It has frankincense, peppermint, all kinds of little things that soaks into your ear that's supposed to like soothe your spins. But my doctor told me that Meclizine, wouldn't work for what I have, which makes sense. If I have something going down my ear canal, it just wouldn't. So, um, it could. He said it could induce. It could make things just a little bit worse. So, at that time, I was like, man, because I was just relying on that Meclizine to kind of stabilize my head, and whatnot. But I decided to take it as needed, just to it. When I took the Meclizine, it helped somewhat, but I was still able to feel it, but it kind of fogs your brain up a little bit. So I would rather deal with the fogginess than deal with the dizziness. So that's what I did. It didn't mess it up worse or anything like that for me. So if you're considering taking Dramamine or Meclizine, all that stuff is for motion sickness. Um, and what you're dealing with is not motion sickness, even though it feels like it. Motion sickness and vertigo are two different things. Motion sickness is like feeling off balance through motion. Dizziness or vertigo is just a spin dizziness, and it's also related to motion, but they categorize those two as different things. So um, so I went it got so I went to the therapy place. I was scared out of my mind. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't want to induce a spin. I didn't want to go through none of that, man, because I knew I have a hard time dealing with it. So, but I felt like I needed to push myself over that edge to do it and deal with it. And then, you know, I'd rather have relief a couple, whatever it took, even if it took a couple of days or whatever, to just continue with this crap every day. So we did the Epley maneuver. It induced a spin, and I was like, oh my god, here we go, and it's numerous head movements. So they hold your head in a position until the spin starts occurring. They keep you in that position till the spinning stops. Then once the spinning starts to slow down, it'll stop. So trust me, it will. If you have BPPV, it will have that spin. You'll feel it, and your eyes makes this seizure-y move where it's either going up and down or side to side, and that's what they look for. And so that happened to me, and even my wife saw it, and she was like, "Oh my God, I ain't never seen nothing like that." But we did that, and then once the spinning subsided, they tilted my head kind of like downward and to the left, and then they brought it up straight, held it, or they brought it all the way to the right, held it, and then I had to sit up. They held my head. It's you just watch the video on the Epley maneuver and you'll see what I'm saying. And so we did that twice, and my expectations, because of my anxiety and what I put myself through thinking about it, was way calmer than I thought it was gonna be. So yeah, I did feel sick. I did have the dizziness and all that, but it wasn't as worse or as bad as I thought it was gonna be. So they did it the first time, then they did it the second time. Both times induced a spin. So we did that. So then when it was time to go, I felt imbalanced. So I left. I thought it was going to go away, and it never did. I felt the imbalance, throughout the whole evening, and then I woke up in the morning, still felt the unbalanced. Well, thankfully, um, I was like, man, this is weird. I should have, why am I still feeling that? So I took a meclizine, and so when I took the meclizine, it didn't help me at all. Well, should I? I'm not gonna say it didn't help me, but it out of it it only helped me about a quarter, like a little bit, just kind of knock off whatever is going on, but it didn't it didn't fully help me. So that day I had therapy again, the very next day. So I went back, told them that I was still feeling messed up, and they were looked at me as if like, well, you shouldn't have felt the way you did. You should have had relief, whatever. So let's do it again. So I was like, all right. So I mean, I battled it for a minute because I was like, man, they're gonna do it again. I'm gonna feel sick. So then we ended up doing it again, and the first time I didn't have the dizziness when they laid me down for the first part of it. Then the second maneuver and third maneuver, I did feel a little bit. Got up, and they were like, "Well, you're doing good," And and that's when they asked me, "Did I take anything?" And I was like, "Yeah, I took a meclizine." So they were like, "Oh, well, maybe the meclizine is stopping the dizziness from happening. So let's do it again." So when they did it again, I had to spin, but it wasn't as bad. It lasted. The first time it lasted probably 15 seconds. This one, the next day, the second session lasted probably like 7 seconds. Went through the whole motion, got up, boom. I was like, all right, and it was easier. It was easier the second time around. You think, that you going into a spin, you never want to do that, but it did get easier. So I just want to give you confidence that do the Epley maneuver. Do it. Regardless how you're feeling, do it. If you have BPPV, just do it. Because right now, it's been probably around 2 weeks since, and I feel great when it comes to the spinning. Like, I don't, it worked for me. For some people, it works the first time. The first time they put you in it, boom, 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 they do everything, you're good. Sometimes it might take a second time, it might take a third time, it might take a fourth time, it might take a 10th time. You just have to be patient. Just do it, and it trust me, the relief and not having the spins, like it's crazy how it helps, and there's there's treatment out there for that, so just go about doing it. Sorry, I'm all over the place. I'm just trying to think of everything that that's happened and how I can word it for you, and plus I'm outside. It's hot. It's like 90 something degrees out with the humidity, and it's not even 11 a.m. So if you have BPPV, have faith. Everything's going to work out. Your treatment will work out. See your doctor right away. If you haven't set an appointment, go to your ear, nose, and throat specialist. Try to get in as soon as possible so they can refer you out to get this head movement. Now, I will say this: there is a device that I bought from Walgreens, and it's an Epley maneuver device where it's actually a hat that has a tube that comes out, and on one side is the crystal, and then you have to move it over. So, but in order to use that, you have to know if you have the issue in your left ear or your right ear. So you can still use it and do both sides and follow the procedure of the video, because you can scan the QR code on your phone and follow the procedure on it and do it. I'm trying to think of what it's called, but if you just Google Epley maneuver hat Walgreens, it'll pull it up, and I forgot the name of the thing, but I have it at home that I could use, and I actually showed the therapist, and she was mind blown. And this thing was created by a BPPV doctor who specializes in that. how to do it at home, so that way you can do it if you have a small episode or whatever. You can do the maneuver just to get the crystal out. So I hope this video helps. So there's anything else? No, I had to sleep tilted up and stuff like that after the first day and things like that, but yeah, it worked for me. So I hope this video helps you. You can leave your comments below to let me know if you have any questions, and I'll try to answer them. But yeah, so far my BPV is gone, and I'm grateful for it, man. And trust me, I'm one of those ones that when you go into a spin, you know, it's like, it's terrible. I'm like a big baby when it comes to stuff like that. So, you know, and then I have anxiety on top of that too, and stuff like that, blood pressure and things of nature. So it's important that you just stay calm. It's gonna, you know, if you do go through the motion, it will dissipate with time. Everybody's different, but if you have the BPPV part of it, just know that there is a treatment for it through therapy, and it will help you if you get into therapy as quick as possible, or have someone help you do the Epley maneuver. So that's it. So thanks for listening. I hope this helped again, and have a good day.